All right, breaking news here on Bengals Breakdown by Chat Sports. I am your host, Tom Downey. Joe Mixon is sticking around with the Bengals. He's taken a pay cut to remain in Cincinnati. We have the contract details we'll get to here momentarily, but yes, this video does look a little bit different than the normal graphics and music and everything we normally have. I was out doing yard work this evening, and all of a sudden get the alert, Joe Mixon restructured, sticking around. So I'm like, okay, I gotta get a video out. Too important news not to do there. So I abandoned my family at home, of course, and went down to the basement. Actually, I'm being the YouTuber in my basement, at least. It's not my mom's basement, I suppose. To give you guys the news, get it out there quickly. So I apologize for the hair not looking the best and the graphics and lighting not being ideal. So apologies. We'll have the normal videos again for you guys, but news happens. We want to get it to you. So make sure you are subscribed. That way I feel better about leaving my family in the middle of, doing yard work and playing with the baby, etc. So hit that sub button for more free Bengals videos each and every single day. All right, so the news, Mixon, pay cut. He was due about $10.1 million in new money this year. That was mostly salary and some per game roster bonuses. In total, had a $12.8-ish million cap number. Per Pro Football Talks, Mike Florio, who broke the contract details, I think it was Schefter or Pelissero, I don't know. They all got the agent group text in terms of the actual news. Mixon and the Bengals, the new base salary is going to be just under $6 million. The previous base salary was just under 10-ish. So my suspicion is this is going to be about $4 million in savings for the Bengals in both cash. I'll explain what that means, how it impacts Burrow, Higgins, etc. later on, and salary cap space, which, I think we're a bit more familiar with there of the immediate impact. So it does save the Bengals some money. It allows Mixon to be more confident in his job security, since there have been plenty of reports, rumors that it was going to be pay cut or else, Joe, you're not going to stick around here anymore. So the Bengals do get this done before training camp, which I do think is a significant deal to have that cleared out of the way from that perspective. It was, by the way, a $9.4 million non-guaranteed base salary. So, again, it's going to be somewhere in that upper end of 4, lower end like $3.5 million in savings. It's not insignificant when you have a bunch of big deals still to come. So, in general, are you glad the Bengals got this done? Y for yes, N for no. Are you happy they restructured Mixon, or did you want a bigger savings? Did you want to cut him out right altogether? That's going to be today's pinned comment. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and go vote. Y for yes, you're glad. N for no, you're not. In the end, I'm fine with this. I think this makes sense. The Bengals were not ready to give the job to Travion Williams, to Chase Brown, to Chris Evans, I guess. The free agent market does include Dalvin Cook. The Bengals had shown no interest. I don't think Ezekiel has that much left in the tank. I don't think Kareem Hunt does. I don't think any of the players do. You can still sign one of those guys to be RB2, but if those were your lead backs with Williams and Brown, it'd be not a very good unit. I think across the NFL, that'd be like, hey, you got to find somebody else too. So it didn't make that much sense to just outright cut Mixon when the pay cut was clearly on the table. So I think that makes sense for all parties involved. It allows Mixon some job security. He's not like, oh, am I going to get cut? Are they going to screw me? That's not the Bengals that we do business, but always maybe a fear there. It allows the Bengals to keep their running back, and it frees up some money. And that is a significant factor when they have the massive contracts to come on the offensive side of the football of Joe Burrow, of Tee Higgins, of Logan Wilson. We will get into that later on in today's video, how the Mixon restructure does impact that. But look, you're keeping one of your best backs in history, right? Mixon has been a roughly 4-yard per carry player. That's not the best. The new contract helps reflect that, but the running back market in general has been rough. Saquon Barkley can't get paid. Josh Jacobs can't get paid. Now, maybe that happens in the coming days before the franchise tag deadline on Monday. But the market's been bad for, I think even Dalvin Cook is going to struggle to get $7-8 million. So I think in reality, the Bengals are going to be paying Joe Mixon about the same, if not less, than what Dalvin Cook was making. And you know that Zach Taylor, based on all his public comments, is a fan of Joe Mixon and didn't want him to leave. So I think that does fit and make sense for the organization. Who Mixon, probably by the mid-ish waypoint, maybe week 10, should take over third all-time in rushing yards for the Bengals. He's 600-something yards away from the 6,000-yard mark, hit by, I believe, just James Brooks and Corey Dillon. Rudy Johnson right now is third. I think Mixon should surpass him, which that's one of the best backs in Bengals history then, right? So you keep him happy, and it allows your team to remain committed to winning now. Mixon would have saved you more money if you had cut him, but it probably would have negatively impacted your offense a little bit more than the savings would have been worthwhile, barring like a big splash move at the running back spot, which kind of defeats the whole purpose anyway. So I think it does make sense for the Bengals. Now, Mixon last year had 7 touchdowns. 814 yards, 210 carries. There is $2 million worth of incentives that are going to be what we call not likely to be earned, meaning they did not hit that number last year, therefore they're probably not going to earn it this year. That's just the designation from that perspective. So the $2 million, it could be like, half a million for 9,000 yards. $500,000 for 1,000 yards, $500,000 for making the AFC Championship game or making the Super Bowl, $500,000 for winning the Super Bowl. Stuff that it's not going to count against your cap now. If they get there, okay, that's fine. They probably played well enough to justify, and you're okay paying it there in the end. So I mentioned the 7 touchdowns. How many rushing scores will Mixon have this season? Get your votes in for me in the comment section right now. I did mention the Higgins impact here. This frees up some short-term cash. Cash is not how the Bengals have been aggressive. The modern-day NFL, the aggressive teams are creating salary cap space by paying out more cash. They're backloading deals and then backloading the next round of deals, so there's always just pushing money off into the future. The Eagles do it better than anybody. They spend like $300 million a year in cash or close to it because they'll push it off in the future. They're not worried about it now. Who cares? Whatever. This year, they're still paying a bunch of money. The Bengals don't necessarily have that type of available cash flow and willingness to spend it. That has not been Mike Brown's MO as an owner. Now, they've made some nice changes. Thank you, Katie Blackburn. But I don't think they're ever going to be Eagles level. So saving a few $1,000,000 here and there to help you pay for Tee Higgins, help you pay for Joe Burrow, maybe a Logan Wilson, I think does matter a lot. And I do think this move is a precursor for what's to come either before camp or during camp. I think Joe Burrow will get paid. It will be a record-setting deal. Maybe they wait till Justin Herbert's deal's squared away. He's worth every penny. He is going to get this team to the promised land. I am convinced of it. You pay him. I want to get the Higgins deal done too. That'll be expensive as well. Between Higgins, Burrow, and Chase, you'll be paying from the per year number, $100 million. Now, the cap's going to go up. It's not actually going to be $100 million each year on the cap, but that's what you're staring down there. So freeing up some money from Mixon to give it to other guys, I think makes a lot of sense for the Bengals moving forward. So with all that in mind, grade the restructure. A, B, C, D, or F in the comment section right now.